525,000 a year, 10,000 a week, 1,400 every day. That's the number of male suicide rates right now. Now, with this month being Men's Mental Health Month, it's a good time to bring awareness and think about and be acknowledgement to men's mental health and everything like that. I know it's Pride Month and stuff like that, and I just feel like Men's Mental Health Month gets overlooked quite often, and it's a terrible thing, especially for men leading the world in suicide. It feels like, and for being a young man and everything, and who's went through stuff, who's sober now, who's been through sobriety and a whole bunch of other mixed emotions and thoughts myself. And still today, it's hard for me to reach out because as young men, we're taught, we have all these eyes looking on us. I feel like to provide, to make big accomplishments, to do something with your life, and that gets really overwhelming. And failure isn't. It's going to happen. That's what failure is. What teaches us what not to do next time, and why we will probably succeed the next time we try it. So, there's a lot of things that go into play, and I think one other major factor is men don't talk. We don't have that. It's almost like a set thing for women. Women are known to talk. They're known to share their feelings. They're known to just gab and get that stuff off their chest. And for men, it's almost like, I see a lot of things where people are, which we'll get to one of them, and it's the tree or the woman. And there's a big debate on, what's better, and men say the tree over than the wife because, he can confide in the tree and he can't confide into his wife because that's just arsenal for them to throw back at him in 8 months in their next fight or, something like that. There's a lot of things that go through men's mind because we are, technically in society's eyes, we are the breadwinners, even though we're not. I get it. Women can too, but we're the providers, we're the protectors, all these things, and a lot of times we fail, and which is totally fine, especially as a young man. But you get so much pressure on you and stuff that failure weighs and weighs, and it hurts, and we don't talk about it enough. I'd much rather have my friend come cry on my shoulder and be weak and vulnerable to me and just talk about it than go and pull the trigger or take that big amount of pills or however they plan on doing it. I'd rather have them come and cry on my shoulder, and that's the stigma around men, is that we can't do that, and that's really hurting the male society, young and older. Like we just feel like, who do we have to talk to? We don't want to show weakness because it's not good to be in a weak place. And, thinking about suicide and stuff, in my opinion, is a weak mindset. I'm not going to say that makes you weak. It's a weak mindset. It shows that emotionally you're tore down, you're broke, you're ready to give up, And then there's also that mindset of, okay, I'm not suicidal, but I'm to the point where I'm just coasting through life. And, if God was right there in front of me, right here on earth, and I had the opportunity to say, hey, I'm done, I probably would. And there's that too. And it's a lot of those 9-to-5ers. And it's crazy because there are people out there that, make a change for the better and figure it out. And, I do think a negative mindset doesn't bring a positive lifestyle or positive living at all. You have a real negative mindset, life's going to be very dull, it's going to be very dark, everything's going to suck, and life already sucks. It's just almost so hard to enjoy the little things, especially for the guys that are working 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, and they're just coming home, and I'm sure their kids want to see them more. I'm sure the wives and girlfriends want to see them more. Their family wants to see them more. And that weighs on them too. But they got to go to work because they got to bring that paycheck home. They got to provide. They got to have a savings. They got to get the 401k up. They got to have a retirement. They got to have all these plans. They got to pay for college. And that's going through a young man's mind right away, especially if they want to be more family oriented. Now, granted, in your early 20s, maybe even up to your 30s, you're not thinking about family and stuff like that, but you still have to provide to have a lifestyle that you want to have. And usually you're going to have a girlfriend probably, if not, you're still out running around. You got to save money, but you still got to pay bills. You got to have a home. You got to have a nice car. You got to have your shit together. You got to go to work. You got to build up that money to do all these things. And you almost don't need it, but you have to have it, right? But the more you have it, you think you're going to be happier. And obviously they say money can't buy happiness, can't. But you could sure have fun with it, and it does help a lot. I imagine if you're broke and you're sitting at home and you have nothing to do and your bills aren't paid and stuff like that, you're not going to be too happy. So that's where I like to think, it almost does make us happy. It makes everybody happy to work and stuff. But there's just a lot of strain on men, and I don't want to gab on too much about that. It's Men's Mental Health Month, like I was saying, and male suicide is a big thing. I think everybody should look into it, whether it's you that needs to talk to somebody or whether you feel like someone in your life is being down or getting distant or something like that. Maybe you should reach out to them before you can't. Don't be afraid to take that step. Don't be afraid to get vulnerable with your bros. Don't be afraid to feel like you could talk to somebody. I personally know from experience that it is uncomfortable for me to talk to anybody. It's uncomfortable. I don't want to do it. I don't like doing it. I don't like getting emotional. I'd rather get emotional alone and stuff, but it's not healthy. So if you're having any of those thoughts, please reach out. Please do something, because what your idea is not it. It's not going to be better for the long run. And, I could say like the bullshit stuff like, oh, you got to think about your family. Oh, you got to think about who you're going to leave behind. Fuck them. At the end of the day, think about you and what you're giving up. Because just because you're having a bad life experience now does not mean your life's always going to be bad. And that's the thing, we're always thinking about the future, and we're always thinking about what are we doing to set in stone the things that we want and to accomplish all this crazy shit. But sometimes you just got to sit back and enjoy the moment and just live in the moment and just realize, all right, listen, I might be working this 9 to 5, or I might be waking up at 3 a.m. I might not be making as much money as I want to be, but I'm getting a paycheck. My bills are getting paid. I'm able to save money. I'm able to have a roof over it. It's those things that you almost forget about. It's like I was listening to somebody speak actually on a Jordan Peterson presentation, and they were talking about how the biggest thing that we take for granted is leaving the house and coming home. And it's true, because every time I leave the house in the morning, I'm not sitting there like, you know what? Thank you, I get to do this again. And when I get home, I'm not going, thank you, I made it back. Because all I'm worried about all these superstitional stuff, half the time. I'm worried about what's happening in the future. What am I doing to make my future better, which is great, worry about that. But at the same time, every day is a gift, and you should treat it as such. As the same time as plan for the future, you should treat like every day as a gift. Every day is new, and you shouldn't take it for granted and just lay it on the couch. You need to learn to enjoy it, and that's something I personally had to learn myself too. I hated being alone. I still hate being alone, but there was a difference in my hatred for being alone before and now that I'm comfortable in my life and I'm getting more comfortable with myself and who I am and where I've came and who I am after it, what I did in my life. I'm getting more comfortable with all that. So now I'm realizing it is more easier for me just to relax. I'm working regularly. I got a great job. I got a great gig. I got a great girl. I got an amazing life right now. And, sitting back and getting to lay on the couch is nice. Heather got to go on vacation to go visit her aunt with her mom. They had an amazing time. Hello, Susan, Aunt Patty. But they had a great time down in Florida. I stayed up here. I had to work and everything. Obviously, we just took a vacation to Japan not that long ago, which I am going to make a podcast talking about with Heather, because me and her do have two different views on it. I love Japan. I love the ancient history about Japan, and I love modern Japan and the car culture. I do not like seafood like they do. You know what I mean? So I struggled a little bit with the food. Other than that, it was beautiful. Like I said, we'll get into that another time. Right now, we're on a way more important subject. But I was here the whole time, and, you know, I work a very, some would say, an awesome schedule. Some would say, some would hate it probably. But I wake up at 3 a.m., I go to work at 4, and I get off at 12 o'clock. You know, so I have all the afternoon. So, oh, sorry. My blinds just popped open on me. I have all the afternoon, so it's really nice. But at the same time, I'm off before anybody else. So I also have a lot of alone time now, too. It is good for Heather and me. She kind of works a lot of nights, so I do get to see her before I go to sleep a lot, which is awesome and beautiful. But like I was saying, is I got to lay here, and I played Xbox, and I cooked dinners, and, you know, and I did just shit around the house. I even cleaned, you know, just vacuumed. You know, took care of the cats, and I enjoyed it. I had a great time. I was a little bored, obviously, and there's nothing wrong with being bored, but that's the thing that I didn't understand when I was super depressed and I hated myself and I was just drinking myself to fucking death and I was fucking doing blow like a sneer shred snow, you know, just I was doing everything in my power to not be bored and to not be alone. You know, it's a social drug, cocaine, you know, and I was always trying to be social. I hung out. I had way more friends then than I do now. And that's because most of everybody then, most of the people you've seen on the podcast, other than Jeff, which, love you, Jeff, other than Jeff, I don't talk to. I don't. And I'm glad I don't. They were literally just, like I was saying, people that I would put around myself so I wasn't bored, so I'm not stuck in my thoughts and I'm not thinking about, you know, oh, fuck me, I hate myself, you know, like every time I close my eyes, you know. You know, so I was surrounding myself with people and things to do to keep me occupied, and that's terrible. You shouldn't do that to yourself, in my opinion, because then you get so, like, used to it, but it's not actually fun. So then, like, I kind of lost the feeling of fun and, like, doing the things, the mundane things that I enjoyed doing before. And, like, you know, now I'm gaining all that back, like, which is awesome, and I love it. And, you know, and it's not all there. You know, I still have real bad days. I still think about my dad a lot, you know. Been thinking about him a lot lately as well, which we'll get onto that topic. Oh, god damn, Belly. We'll get onto that topic. That cat right there, knocking my blinds around. Get on that topic on another day, but you know, I still get really down and stuff, but the only difference is now I don't think about ways to not be down. I think about why I'm down and I ponder on it, and yeah, I don't share it nearly enough as I should. And, you know, I was just talking to Heather about that the other day. You know, I don't, you know, and it's hard. That's why I don't. It's not because I don't want to. I would love to, but it's almost sometimes it's like, I don't know if other men have this problem, but you guys let me know down below, but it's almost like I can't find the words that I want to say. Or I feel like what I'm going to say makes me sound like a bitch or a pussy, or, you know, or I feel like I should just get the fuck over it, or, you know, my problems aren't shit, so why should I be telling this person, you know, I mean, like, they got problems too, fuck my problems, you know, so that's why there's all these reasons, but now I enjoy it. I got away from all that. I have a couple friends, you know, Caleb, Mitch, Heather, my mom, getting real close to my mom, which is nice, you know, trying to get real close with Heather's family as much as I can. You know, I love all of them. They're great. And I'm just enjoying building this life. And, yeah, I'm taking it day by day. You know, I don't need to be running around doing everything in the world, you know. That's just how it is. You know, me and Heather went kayaking. So she plans on getting a kayak. And we're going to be kayaking a lot, which is nice. We got a little camping trip set up in Tippecanoe because we're going to go float the river with my mom and a whole bunch of people from the campground. So that's going to be nice and relaxing. And, you know, I don't drink or nothing no more. So that's another thing I had to learn, was how to have fun without alcohol, a blackout substance. You know, something to get you just gone. You know what I mean? Like, and then cocaine to bring me right back, you know, and to keep me going. So, you know,
it's taken me a while, and sometimes I still find myself getting bored doing things that I used to do when I was drink. I find myself getting bored now doing it, even though there's no reason I should be bored. Like we were up at the, Hobart, Indiana does this really lovely thing where they host this like food truck festival every Thursday evening, and they got bands going up there and all this other stuff, and it's really nice. It's good for the local community. Everybody comes out and gets together and brings everybody together. It's really nice, but I should be able to stand there or sit there and just watch the bands and have a good time and enjoy myself. I don't need to drink like everybody else, and I'm learning that. I am. I don't want to drink. That's not what I'm saying when I say that. If you're thinking like sobriety wise, it's nothing like that. It's almost the opposite. I'm trying to learn what truly is fun, because when you're drinking on a substance like that, I could do anything and make it fun. You know what I mean? Like, fuck, me and Mitch could play fucking cornhole on the table with a mini cornhole set that we got for Christmas, and I'll be having fun. We're drinking, cracking jokes. Sit there and do that in basic context. It's different, but it's not. And that's just something I had to learn. And again, that goes with, my mental health. And, I know I'm not everybody, and I know everybody battles their own things. Mine's probably not the worst by far. You know what I mean? I get that. Everyone's got their own battle, and you should never compare your battle to everybody else. And that's what men do a lot. Like I said earlier, when men are thinking, oh, well, I want to talk to somebody, but I can't, and there's these reasons. Oh, I don't know what to say. Oh, I probably sound like a bitch. Oh, they got problems too. Why the fuck should they be worried about mine? I'll just leave it to myself, But meanwhile, they're talking about their problems. That's the thing. Girls talk about their problems to everybody. Right? Like your girlfriend, or like growing up, you heard your mom on the phone in the morning, right? On the phone while she's watching some show, fucking Lifetime show. She's on the phone with her girlfriend just fucking gabbing about all the shit that stresses them out. And they're just talking. And what they're doing is they're relieving themselves off that stress. And then this is personal to me, I guess. That's what my mom would do. Or she'd talk to her mom, or she'd talk to her girlfriends, or she'd just talk. They're just more comfortable with being openly emotional to people, or open about their emotions to people. But then, like my dad, for instance, he would just go out in the garage and fucking work on his car, and, hey, how's it going? I'm all right. How's work? It's all right. And I understand that, because, like, I come home from work, I hate talking about work outside of work. That's like a real pet peeve of mine. Personally, I hate just talking about work. Like, if I see a coworker outside of work and they come up to me and they're just talking about work, it's like, bro, we're off the clock. We're off the clock. Tell me what's going on in your personal life. Anything else. I don't want to talk about work. So, yeah, when I come home, even now, Heather, how was work? It was all right. It's just work. Good day. There was a bunch of shit throughout the day that I could complain about, but we don't. And I feel like that's with most men. But I'm not saying all men. Most, but not all. I get there's exceptions and stuff, and I get there's also women that don't like that too. I'm not saying that all women are always these chatty Cathys, but the majority, yes. The majority, the stereotype, I guess, for women is you guys are more emotionally open, and there's nothing wrong with that. I envy you. Us men envy you right now, because we're leading the pack in suicides because we can't speak our minds emotionally, because we are scared to connect that deep with somebody. I don't know. Every man's probably got their own excuse. Me, my main excuse is half the time I feel like I can't find the words to explain how I'm feeling. I just don't know what to say. And coming from someone that talks a lot, man, I can talk. I can bullshit all day. And I am an emotional guy. But it's always, I get real emotional because it always like blows up. I let shit build up and build up, and then all of a sudden one day it just goes and erupts. And it's not healthy. I get it. I quit smoking cigarettes. I'm vaping. I know this is no better. I get it. But you're gonna ask Heather. It was kind of strange. I kind of just one day just didn't buy a pack. And Heather likes to throw her vapes out when there's still like 20% on them, you know. So I grabbed her old vape and I was like, just so I could still get a little nick. And then I just didn't buy a pack of cigarettes. When we were in Japan, though, I did get some pretty cool cigarettes. They came in an all tin fucking container. They were super nice. Super nice. I got Mitch a pack of them. He enjoys them. I used them like cigars, smoked them on occasions. Then I got these other ones that were called blacks. Actually, I think they got the box for those too. Yeah, right here. Yeah. Talk about a mental health buildup. I will say that, man. For a year and a half ago, I'm losing my house, or lost my house. I'm a fucking hard drug addict at this point because I've been doing blow for too long already and drinking way too much, just wanting to hurt myself. Terrible. Well, 2 years ago almost. Well, no, because I'm a year and what are we at, month 6? A year and 6 months? No. I'm a year and 4 months. I'm a year and 4 months sober, so let's go a couple months before my sobriety date. That was pretty rough, you know. And to go to that, from that to now to going on an international trip. I have a passport, bro. Like, I got a fucking passport. I never thought I'd ever get a fucking passport. You know, I always wanted to travel abroad, but I never had the dream to do it anymore because I threw those dreams out because I was dreamless at that point. I had no dreams, no expectations. I lost all my motivation to do this right here. At the core of the chalkboard, when I first started it, yeah, it was a group of guys bullshitting, but that's what we need to do. You know, if you go back into my old videos called Beers and Bros, you know, and you go back to the beginning, not the shit with fucking at the end where I had fucking, no, and I was, no, fuck all that. Go to the beginning, and you'll see me, Jeff, Caleb, and Mitch. And that was like true friendship. That was like good talks. Like, that was us just being genuine with each other. And that's what I wanted, and that's what I missed, and that's what I lost. And that's what I'm getting back. And I'm so happy. Just listen to my audio quality compared to the last couple of videos I dropped. I finally am getting it back. I'm back on a soundboard. I'm back on my mics. I'm back on a good camera. I'm back doing the thing that I love to do. And like, you know, honestly, I'm sitting here and I'm looking at myself while I'm filming, and I keep catching myself looking at myself, and instead of looking at the camera. And now that I say that, you'll notice it a lot. But the reason I'm doing it is I'm just like I'm in love with how good it looks again. And I know I'm not in a studio, and I know I don't got obsidian walls no more, and I know I don't got all my knickknacks out, but I still do. Like, you just can't see them. Like, I got this dope ass vintage mic. Peep this bitch. You know. That's going to go up on the shelf one day. You know, I got this guy from fucking Japan, from Naruto. I have a Dragon Ball Z Vegeta, but he's disappeared. And I honestly, like, he should have fell behind my desk, but he's not back there, bro. Like, I looked everywhere. So I'm still going to be trying to figure out where he went. But, yeah, you know, I was so worried, and I kept making excuses on why not to film and stuff. And Heather, when she comes on, because me and her have we have some shit we're collabing on to do together on the channel. I know we got the hiking stuff and stuff like that and the traveling, which I know I didn't video or anything of Tokyo, but when we talk about it and we do the podcast, she's got a million photos that I'm going to have blasted up here on the screen for you guys to go through with us and see the trip. It was a 2-week trip. We were there 12 days. It was fucking beautiful. Cherry blossoms were popping off. It was gorgeous. I lost my train of thought. I got thinking about Japan. So, oh, back to this. You know, I was making so many excuses on why not to film, and my quality was like the number one thing. I was like, you know, from the start, with that genuine video I told you to go, you know, look back, those genuine ones with like me and my friends from high school and shit like that. Like, I had guests from high school on there and shit. It was cool. The camera quality, the audio quality is filmed off, audioed off one Yeti microphone. You know, hung up. It looked like shit. It was filmed off some fucking janky ass cell phone. It was just bare bones. And, you know, I loved it. But then I grew a little bit before I started getting on all this that's really bad fuck shit. I like got going and I bought soundboards and cameras and lights and mics and fucking, you know, I still got a lot of my shit, but I lost, you know, like all my cables and shit, and everything was just destroyed, and my cameras were garbage and fucking, I'm not going to get into all that, but, you know, I lost a lot of that stuff anyways, but I still got my mics at least. But I kept using it as excuses, and I kept fucking, you know, getting fast food and dumb shit with my spare money instead of, like, doing something I needed to do. So one day me and Heather were out, and I was like, hey, let's go to a Guitar Center. Let's do it. So we go to Guitar Center. I found two 30-foot, or I think they're 20-foot cables for like $15 a piece. Prime. So now I just need to get two more, and then I'll be fully set up. The camera quality is looking way better. Again, Heather, she bought me this beautiful webcam for Christmas. Love her to death. She has been there for me more than anybody ever, and I wouldn't be here honestly right now talking to you guys in person if it wasn't for that woman, Heather. So, you know, I do owe her my life pretty much. She's amazing. She was there for me through everything. You know, all she had to do was just fucking say no and walk away. You know, we weren't far into the relationship, and she stuck by my side, and I've came a long way, I like to think, since then. And, you know, I love that I can make her proud. You know, she was there for my dad passing away. She was there for my sobriety. She was there for my downfall, pretty much, like the end of me going downhill real bad. She was there for it all, and she stayed there. And I know she probably didn't want to, but she did. And I love her so much, and I can't believe we have such an amazing life together now. You know, we don't even fight anymore. We don't anything. It's fucking great. So, especially with me being stable, that takes a lot of stress off Heather as well. Me being able to have a savings and, you know, pay the bills. You know, if I needed to cover all the bills, if I had to, you know, me being able to do that takes, I'm sure, a ton of stress off Heather. And I'm really happy to be able to do that for her because, like I said, she means the world to me, and I can't wait to do these other things. I don't even know if I should talk about them right now. We're going to do, because, fuck, I'm 30 minutes into this. Ain't no one going to watch till now, but we're going to do like this food review thing. We're going to go around, we're going to eat at restaurants, and we're going to review it afterwards. So we're going to take photos and shit there, and then we're going to do a thing kind of sitting down right here, talking about it, showing it, rating it, and shit like that. And then I do just want to have her on for a couple podcasts as well, talking about the trials of being the person on the other side of someone going through sobriety, you know, because she's got that, you know, she was there through it all. So, you know, get to hear that side of things. I've already heard it, but I'd love to be able to show that to you guys. Also, just to have a normal podcast with her so you guys can get to know her. You know, I used to have like a little bit of a cult following, I would say. There was at least like 30 steady viewers. And there was people that commented all the time and followed me on Twitch and all that. And, you know, I would love to get that back. I know my community's dead. You know, I killed it because I just didn't stay consistent, and, you know, shit hit the fan, and I needed to take care of my mental health first, and I'm glad I did. So hopefully the chalkboard can be a place for everybody to come together and be there for each other and build a strong community and just support everybody, man. And just remember, you're not alone. Don't ever think that you're alone, because you can even just pick up a phone. I know sometimes it feels like you have to be the one to call everybody. I know sometimes it feels like you have to be the strongest person in the world, but you don't. You can be weak for a little bit. Okay? Stay loved. Stay peaceful. I'll see you next time, guys. Peace.